Welcome to r/Best of Redditor updates, where over the course of a single post, we watch a woman completely destroy her life. Our next Reddit post comes from r/relationships. I'm a 40-year-old woman. My best friend, a 38-year-old woman, is going through a divorce with her husband, who's 44. We'll call them Alice and Ken. My husband and I have been together for 10 years, and we've always been close with Ken and Alice. Alice and I have been best friends since long before we met either of our partners. My husband and Ken have become good friends over the years, and they hang out just the two of them semi-frequently. About a month ago, Ken told Alice that he wanted a divorce. She told me that for the last 6 months, they've been having issues. According to her, the problems stem from Ken's issues with her job. 3 years ago, she accepted a promotion at her company. That promotion requires her to travel 3 to 4 months out of the year, and she works a lot, even when she isn't on assignment. Alice has always been insanely ambitious and successful. I think it's important to note that Ken works full-time as a tradesman. He works out of his shop on their property doing metalwork and stays pretty busy. She makes more than he does, but I wouldn't call her the breadwinner. Alice has a 12-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. The bio dad isn't in the picture, and Ken has acted as her dad since she was 4. According to Alice, Ken has been asking her to either take a position that requires less hours and responsibility or find a new job that doesn't require any travel. She's been telling him that she will, but she's been putting it off, thinking that he would drop it eventually. This has been going on for a while. She didn't tell me how long exactly. It all came to a head when she extended a business trip while she was on the trip and forgot about a family vacation they'd planned for when she got back. She didn't consult her husband about extending her business trip before agreeing to it. She apologized and promised to make it up to her husband and their daughter. She said that she didn't have a choice when it came to extending the business trip. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. Ken was upset, but didn't blow up. When she got home, though, his stuff was packed, and he had moved most of his shop and tools into storage. He hadn't told her any of this, and was acting like everything was fine up until this point. She called me and was crushed. She kept saying, "I didn't think that he'd do it," over and over. What was at first sadness on her end quickly became resentment and anger when Ken made it clear that there was no getting back together. Ken and my husband were in contact during this whole ordeal. My husband knew they were having issues, but didn't know the extent of it until Ken left Alice. Ken told my husband that Alice has been checked out of this relationship ever since she took the new position. They don't do anything as a family anymore. Alice doesn't make time for them to talk when she travels. I guess he asked her for some nudes and some sexy dirty talk a few times, and she rejected him, but did have time to go out with coworkers. They also don't passionately hug anymore. He had voiced these concerns to her numerous times, and she blew them off, according to Ken. Everything became much worse after one particular incident that's hard to even type without cringing. Ken and Alice had been separated for about 3 weeks. Their daughter was bouncing back and forth between Ken's apartment and their old home that Alice was staying in. It was Ken's weekend with their daughter. He brings her back on Sunday evenings. Well, Alice went on a bender and literally forgot what day it was, and she was so drunk. This isn't like her. She thought that it was Saturday when it was Sunday. Ken shows up with their daughter and walks in on a shit show. Alice had 2 younger men there, and they were drunk and in the hot tub. They weren't in the act, but it was clear what was going on. She started freaking out, calling Ken names, screaming that it wasn't Sunday yet. Ken kept their daughter in his truck so she didn't see the worst of it, and they left. The next day, she had no idea what had happened. She had texted Ken horrible things while she was drunk. I only saw them because Ken sent my husband screenshots. I won't say word for word what they said, but it was really personal stuff. Since then, Ken is going nuclear. He wants the house, he wants custody because he adopted the daughter long ago, and he wants child support. He's taking her to the cleaners, as they say. I know this isn't Alice. I know she's going through something. She needs friends right now, and I'm literally all she has. Her own daughter would rather stay with Ken. I'm not going to cut out my best friend over this. The issue? My husband wants me to cut her out. He said some really terrible things about her. He called Alice a terrible mother, even though I know Alice loves her daughter. He's called her a self-absorbed effing B-word. He says that he doesn't want me getting sucked into her drama and behavior. When I insist that she'll turn it around and she just needs help right now, he shuts it down by saying this is who she really is. And he doesn't know why I would want to associate with people like her. I know a lot of this is just stuff that Ken has told him and he's defending his buddy. I'm not excusing her behavior, but I think it's unreasonable for him to want me to cut out my best friend. She asked me to go out with her a few times, and I went once without telling my husband because I knew what he'd say. I just wanted to talk to her in person. After I told him that we met up, he went ballistic and repeated that if I didn't cut her out, that we'd have issues too. Oh man, OP. Let me be super clear. If you were my wife in this scenario, if my wife were doing what you're doing, I'd be worried. I'd be seriously worried. I do understand that you want to be a good friend, but OP, your friend is going off the deep end. She is self-destructing, to put it simply. I can't really begrudge you for standing next to your friend. I'm not begrudging you for that. What I'm saying is I'm sympathizing with your husband that he's worried that this destructive behavior is going to rub off on you and that she's going to corrupt you. I think that's a very reasonable and justifiable concern. And then the fact that you defend her and secretly go off to meet her basically confirms your husband's fears. So I am completely on your husband's side here. Let's hope this update is a good one. Also, I gotta say, OP, though before I do, I gotta point out something. This woman stopped passionately hugging her husband, and she said it wasn't a big deal. And then within weeks of breaking up with her husband, she has 2 young guys in a hot tub. Apparently, her sex drive is doing just fine. Maybe the reason why she wasn't passionately hugging her husband was because she was getting her itch scratched during those work trips. Okay, yeah, down in the comments, OP is getting dragged. Obviously, the friend is getting dragged as well, but people are giving OP a much-needed reality check. And then 3 days later, OP posted an update. This is not a happy update. Alice and I made plans to get together on Saturday morning. I was gonna get us coffee and help her with a few things around our house before she left for a business trip on Monday. My intention was to tell her that we're worried about her and we all want to see her happy, but her behavior was worrying us. I was hoping that we'd have a heart-to-heart. I was hoping I'd see my friend again. I was hoping she'd agree to see a therapist. I was hoping that she'd take a step in the right direction. None of that happened. She was combative from the second that I showed up at her place. Almost like she knew what my intentions were before I even said anything. When I told her that I was worried about her, she said that she was fine and had just been blowing off steam and having some fun. She said that she works hard and can do whatever she wants now that Ken has left her. She talked about how ungrateful Ken was over the years for all her hard work and everything she'd paid for and done for him. It made me cringe, but I bit my tongue. For the record, Ken is a hard-working guy who doesn't need her money. He was the breadwinner when they first got together. She makes quite a bit more than him now, but he is in no way dependent on her. Some of you pointed out that it was likely that Alice was cheating on Ken. I asked her about this, and she got extremely defensive. She gave me the whole, "I can't believe you'd even ask me that" attitude. I reminded her about the hot tub incident and the optics of it all. She blew it off and swore that she never cheated. I asked who the guys were. Turns out they were interns at her company. When I asked how old they were, she simply said, "They're legal." The way she said it made me wonder if that's how dirty old men talk about younger women. It was gross. Whether or not she was cheating before the breakup, I don't know. I don't really know anything about this woman anymore. Here's where things took an unexpected turn. As we chatted, she was packing for her business trip. I asked her where she was going this time. She said Dallas. I didn't think anything of it. She'd gone to Dallas for business dozens of times. What did strike me as odd was what she was packing. Long pants, sweatshirts, a beanie, jackets, hiking boots. It was all fall attire and not what you'd be wearing in Dallas this time of year. I don't even think I saw her pack work clothes. But the weirdest thing, a random Seattle Mariners jersey. She doesn't follow baseball. She never has. I thought about saying something, but I kept my questions to myself. It was all just odd. I felt like she was preoccupied with packing and her daughter coming over soon, so I decided to head out. We hugged, and I told her that I loved her and want her to be happy. I told her that I hope she considers seeing a therapist when she gets back. She said, "I'll think about it," and things seemed to end on a positive tone. When I got home, my husband and I were talking about how things went, and I told him about the clothes she was packing and the random Seattle Mariners jersey. He thought that it was odd too, but other than it just being odd, we didn't think anything of it at the time. But then my husband went full internet detective. And guess who lives in Seattle and has a Facebook profile picture of himself at a Mariners game? Her daughter's biological father. My heart sank. When I checked the Mariners' schedule, they do have home games next week. I called her immediately and asked her if she was really going to Dallas. She responded, "Yeah, why?" I asked, "Are you sure that you're not going to see your ex in Seattle?" She got quiet. There was probably a full minute of silence. I told her that she had better not lie to me and that I'd find out. She came clean. She said that she had gotten in contact with him right after Ken left her and they'd been talking more and more. She said that he was a different man now and he had turned his life around, blah, blah, blah. I didn't talk about her baby daddy in the last post because it wasn't relevant. But just know, this man is a piece of garbage human being. He cheated on her while she was pregnant and kicked her out when she confronted him. He'd slap her around, call her terrible names. This guy said that he wanted nothing to do with their child also. After he kicked her out, I flew to Seattle, picked her up and brought her home. She lived with me for a bit. She met Ken shortly after having her daughter, and within a year of dating, they moved in together. I told her that of all the stuff that she's pulled recently, this was by far the worst thing that she could do. I told her that I was disappointed in her. I couldn't believe that she would ever speak to that man after what he did to her and how he treated her. She kept saying that this was years ago and that she's changed and he wants to meet his daughter one day. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is giving me anxiety, you guys. We are literally watching this woman's life unravel over the course of a single Reddit post. There is no way on earth, this lady's gonna get custody. The reason why I should get custody is because my ex-wife wants to introduce the daughter to the man who used to beat her. Oh man, this woman, okay. I started screaming and yelling into the phone so loud that I blew my voice out. I told her I was done with her. I told her that if she gets on that plane to Seattle to not bother contacting me ever again. I hung up on her. She called back and texted once, but I ignored it. I didn't have the energy for her anymore. I just sat on the couch crying all night while my husband held me. He didn't rub it in. He didn't give me attitude. He just let me cry and told me that he was sorry. Alice texted me this morning. She said that she's sorry for lying to me, but she's a big girl now and she can look after herself. I asked her if she's still going to Seattle. She said yes, and I blocked her. It's over. I told Ken everything. He was upset, but not surprised. He said that he knew how close Alice and I were, and he was sorry that I lost my friend. I told him that I was sorry that he'd lost his wife. You guys were right. I feel like an effing idiot. Maybe it's a little selfish of me, but I feel betrayed. OP, okay, man, I don't want to be harsh on you because the thing that you did wrong here was you cared too much about your friend, which isn't really a bad quality. You were wrong, obviously. Like, this woman is destroying her life. She's going downhill, she's self-destructing, and there's nothing you can do to stop her. You tried to save your friend, which, if anything, is an admirable trait. The problem is that your friend was in so deep, it's like running into a burning building that's completely engulfed in flames, and your friend is like deep into the building in the basement. At that point, running in to save them is just suicide. Also, we can all pretty much agree, right, that she was cheating with the interns or with her coworkers or random guys that she met at the bar whenever she would go on these work trips. She was cheating, right? We can all agree on that. I love this top comment from Little Miss Savior Fair. Imagine going back to your deadbeat baby daddy. Like, if you're gonna make poor choices, at least make new poor choices, if only for the novelty. Right? It's so weird. Like, this woman says, oh, he's changed. He's different. Okay, well, if he's changed and if he's different, why hasn't he tried to reach out to his daughter? Why hasn't he been sending his daughter Christmas gifts and birthday gifts and having Zoom calls with her and slowly working up to meeting in person because he loves his daughter? No, because he hasn't changed. Because obviously he hasn't changed. Oh my God, lady. Okay. All I can say is good luck, OP. Good luck to Ken. Man, I feel bad for Ken. This guy's a keeper. This guy's an incredible husband, an incredible father, and this woman just threw him away. It's sad, honestly. It's really sad. Ugh, jeez. What a post. That was r/Best of Redditor updates. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.